everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and with me, as always,
it's Gator.
And tonight we are going to go in a very boutique direction here.
Yes.
So we met a lady, Rosalind.
Very nice lady.
And she is one of the owners of Elogio Cigars.
Elogio.
And Elogio, we met her at the Weston Tobacco Festival. And
I was racking and stacking interviews for Nick.
This is the last of the interviews from the Weston Tobacco Festival.
But ran across this lady, got to talking to her, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a great, one-and-out interview. I mean, where else are we going to run into this lady?
Well, and that's the thing.
Yep.
She is a very boutique brand. They are out of... What was that?
I believe Wichita, Kansas. Yes.
I believe. And her brand, Elogio, is only available, and I think she tells me in the interview, we'll double-check when the interview comes up here in a little bit, but I think it's only 60 stores.
Yep, I believe that is accurate.
So I'm not going to lie to you folks.
Her lovely daughter, and her daughter's boyfriend were there running their booth, and just could not have been nicer people.
Yeah, so I'm not going to lie to you folks. These cigars are probably going to be a little bit more difficult for you to track down versus maybe some of the other stuff that we typically smoke here on the show. So, I try and normally do brands and stuff that folks from East Coast to West Coast are going to be able to find. This one's maybe a little bit more boutique-y than that, but...
Still something to be sought out.
It's something to be sought out. It's a local thing, and I think the local things definitely deserve their due. So
A to the men.
We'll go ahead and get going in this. So she was nice enough to put together a sampler for us. She put together a sampler for us that we purchased. And
so, Nick, tell me about my cigar.
So, Jeff, you are smoking the Siri Habano. And according to their website, the filler and binder are prime tobaccos from Nicaragua, and the wrapper is a first-generation Cuban seed Habano.
There you go. And it is the green on red band.
Yeah, we had to kind of determine all of this based upon band colors because the cigars themselves don't have any real labeling as to
bands,
what they
though.
are. And so I went on their website, and we kind of just, by looking at the pictures, were able to determine what the cigars were from the band colors.
Anybody out in the audience that wants to look up or try to track this cigar down, it's Elogio.
Yes. The G is...
Elogio.
It's an H in the pronunciation.
In the cigar world.
Well, in the Latin pronunciation.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway.
Elogio.
So you've got the Siri Habano.
Is it Latin or Spanish?
I don't know.
I don't think cigars are Latin. Are they?
Well, Latin America.
Yeah, but okay. Spanish.
I don't know. And then I have the Siri Eccentrico, which, from what she said, is kind of a limited.
It's not a prescription at a doctor's office. Aren't those written in Latin?
Anyway, and in terms of a definite or description of my cigar. The description is rather vague because I guess this is something they do kind of as a special cigar every year. And so this says that the Eccentrico is an extremely complicated blend of the most flavorful Nicaraguan tobaccos.
Interesting.
So I guess it's Nicaraguan.
I swear to God it's Spanish, not Latin.
I'm sure it's Spanish. I'm not saying it's Latin. I'm saying it's Latin American, you jerk. Anyway. God.
For the doctors in the audience, maybe help us out with that.
So anyway,
they all learn Latin.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, tell you what, folks, we'll go ahead.
The look I just got from Nick. We need to light up.
Okay,
we got to cut,
that's
man.
True. We do have cigars sitting here. I'm telling you about the cigars, and we're not doing anything.
And by the way, a big shout out to Bjorn using the beautiful cutter.
He is.
I am.
He's got his cutter, so we are going to the cigar. And mine has kind of a torpedo.
I'm going colder on this. That is flavorful.
What do you get? Now, the reason I ask, folks, is because the definition on their website says that it has exotic, flavorful, components. And I knew Jeff was just going to rip off the website. So I want to know, what flavors do you actually get?
It's very flavorful. Very flavorful.
Uh,
I wasn't going to do it specifically because I knew you thought where I was going.
mm-hmm.
Yep. No, it's actually, you know what? How do I say this? On the cold draw, it's very fresh.
Well, there you
That's
go.
what I'm getting is a very fresh taste on the tobacco.
Now, I am lighting mine.
I'm going to light up here. Oh, have you seen my lighter, Nick?
Yeah, he's got the blowtorch back again, folks.
I don't know how you've never seen this before the last episode.
Oh.
It's like my cigar's re-entering the orbit or the atmosphere.
Does it's like when you see like the pictures of the capsule coming in and it's got like the flame going around. Yeah, it does. It looks just like that. It does. It looks just like that. So
That's good.
trying to get something specific from mine.
Tea-berry?
Haha.
See what I did there?
I haven't used a tea berry in a while.
I'm really bitter about them going out of business.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's a nice little cigar.
I'm just trying to figure out what I'm getting from this. I'm getting some spice, but I will say, construction seems really nice. I mean, it's not like it's like flaking apart or cracking or anything like that. So
I did a retro hail. Picked up a lot more spice.
you did a retro hail?
I did a retro hail. And, then proceeded to have to mute the mic and cough.
Hack your lung out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I may have to leave that cough in.
Exactly. Maybe not. That was pretty bad. Well, this is just like, how do I say this? This is just like a fresh. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to use the word exotic now because you're going to pick on me.
Well, yeah, because that's what they described it as. So.
No, the thing I like about it, it's very, very.
Ooh.
It's almost palate cleansing. It's very clean. It's
I,
very
on the other
clean
hand,
smoke.
am definitely getting quite a bit of spice off of mine. I don't know if that's intentional or if maybe my palate is for some reason blown out tonight, but this thing is like, I'm feeling just little like, you know how when you get something spicy and it lingers on the palate and you feel like almost like little pinpricks all over your tongue, like at just different spots? I've got that going on with this cigar. It's like the spice is dancing all over my palate, and at any given point, like somewhere in my mouth is kind of tingly.
I did another retro hail and did not nearly pass out from coughing that time.
I was going to say, I watched you, and you did not pass out, so that's good.
That is a good, clean cigar. I like this. But again, the reason I chose this one is because of the lighter, what I would imagine is a shade-grown tobacco here.
One thing I will say, their band is connected with a piece of tape. So, when it comes time for removal,
That was very impressive.
I just slid it off the lit end.
Mine is not.
I was able to pull it and just kind of slide it off the lit end of the cigar. Yours
That was
doesn't have
actually
tape?
that was very impressive. No, look, mine just normal band.
Interesting. I wonder why mine is. It's got take a look at it. It's got a little, very small little piece of like Scotch tape, or not Scotch tape.
It does.
Transparent tape.
It does.
So I don't know if maybe that I had one where the glue went kind of
Interesting
on them or something. But anyway,
well, these, like I said, the cigar that I'm smoking, very clean, very fresh. I'd almost say like palate cleansing.
that might be one. All right, you know what? Before we go too far down this road of talking about these cigars, let's go ahead and play the interview.
I think that's a good idea.
Because I will freely admit that I probably don't know as much about this brand as I should coming into this, just because, I only learned about it at the show and I learned about
First
it
time
from
I'd
her
heard of
and
it.
everything. So let's go ahead. We'll play that interview and kind of get everybody all up to speed, and then we can kind of circle back.
Love it.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment, folks. So I'm joined by Rose. She is the owner of Elogio Cigars, correct? All right. Rose, very nice to meet you. Why
Nice
don't
to
you-
meet you, and glad to have to be here.
Thank you. Now, you are a local cigar company, correct?
We're based out of Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita, Kansas. Perfect.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your cigars.
Our cigars are made in Nicaragua.
Okay.
Our blender is Carlos Peretti. He learned his craft from his grandfather since he was 5. He's shadowing his grandfather around in Cuba in the farm. And so he learned cultivation, blending, making good cigars.
Fantastic.
And that's his passion.
That's great. Well, what kind of cigars, what kind of like options does your company offer? Like, I'll be honest, describe your line, your blend, or
Okay.
your cigars.
We start out with the LSV blend, which is medium to full. That's toward Nabil, who's my husband, a palate.
Okay.
And that's how we partner up and say, okay, I like the style of cigars. Can you make them? And he made them and a couple tweaks and said, oh, perfect. So that's how the partnership started with his factory in Nicaragua. So he make exclusively for Elogio Cigars in the U.S.
Fantastic. Now, where are your cigars available?
Around 60 stores around the country.
Okay.
We pretty selective on the retailer who
Yeah.
will carry our cigars.
And how did you guys get into cigars?
The brand pre-existing,
You're fine.
2003.
Okay.
We bought it in 2007. We kept the name,
Okay.
the contact, and then we changed all the blend more toward what we like.
What you like?
Yes, we like the cigars with complexity.
Okay.
It changes as you smoke, so it's not the same note all the way through.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so that actually the 3 of us are very creative. Carlos, my husband, myself. So we like to tinker through with different style and profile the cigars. My husband and Carlos mainly do the blending,
Okay.
and I just sample them, and I know what I like and don't like. I give my feedback.
That's how we are. We're not the kind of guys that are going to tell you, oh, we get hints of this or tastes of that. We like it or we don't like it. You know?
Right,
And so,
right. And when I started like cigar jargon, it's like, well, what are you talking about?
Oh.
Cedary, leathery, barnyard. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I don't chew on leather.
Exactly.
So when I describe cigars to people, usually related to food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, some people call me a cigar salad lady because it's a lot to do with food. Lettuce, greens, leafy greens, when I describe it to them, and they comprehend a little bit better.
Okay.
Get an idea what cigar is, or when you talk about mild, medium to full, the complexity.
Yeah. Very cool. And then Elogio, what does that mean?
It means praise.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, that
Very
we
nice.
love the name.
Yeah, no, it's a great
Yeah.
name. It's a great name.
We kept the look of the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just changed the blend.
Okay. So there's a lot of history of the old company mixed in with your
Yeah,
version of the company.
Right. The original blender was his uncle, Carlos' uncle.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah, so
Oh, so there's even a family tie there between your blenders and everything
yes,
then too.
yes. And
Very
then,
cool.
Well, so, but we work closely with Carlos and the
Okay.
family down in Nicaragua.
Very cool.
And
In terms of our listeners, you
Yes.
said you're available at about 60 locations around the country. Where can they? Is there a list? Do you have a website with a list of those locations or something? or where they-
ElogioCigars.com.
Perfect, and that's EL.
ELOGIO.
All right, ElogioCigars.com.
Yes, the G pronounced H. Like
I
an
see.
H.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
We get people come and say, do you have Elogio? All sorts, but it's Elogio, yes.
Very good.
We have several lines.
Yeah.
The core lines, we break them into 2
Okay.
blends, the Habano and the LSV.
Okay.
Habano is medium, a hint of sweetness, creamy, and a white pepper on the finish.
Okay.
And in the beginning, you get a lot of white pepper, but then you kind of, ease on, off a little bit, and the creaminess comes in. It changes as you smoke, and then it builds back up.
Gotcha.
It's really nice. The LSV, a little bit more robust.
And that's the one that your husband preferred,
Right.
correct? Okay.
Right. It's a
All right.
medium to full. got a lot of complexity, creaminess, a lot of spices, and not peppery, godly pepper.
Yeah, yeah.
And creamy and sweet. So it's not sugary sweet.
Yeah.
No, just a hint of it, just to balance out the spices. And then we came out with the limitada line.
Okay.
And that offer in different sizes in the core. The core, we have the Churchill Torpedo, Robusto, and Corona Extras
Okay.
in both Habano and LSV. And then the Habano, we also have in Habano and LSV, but in different sizes. Like Robusto Especial would be 5 by 54.
Okay.
Lancero, Salomon, and Corona Extras. Some people would call it Petite Coronas.
Okay.
Yeah, those are fantastic. This year we added, last year we added the Toro size, but it's a Samoto. We call it Samoto. Those are the filler and the binder. It's from the tobacco that Carlos new farm.
Okay.
And he harvests, he does everything himself, and so those tobaccos from his farm.
Okay.
And the wrapper not quite ready yet, so we had to get Ecuadorian Habano as the wrapper. But
Okay.
hopefully when the wrapper's ready, then everything would be Samoto.
Perfect.
Back to the original.
The way you
Right.
intended.
We
Yeah.
originally we leased land out in the field there, Samota Valley, but it didn't work out with the landowners. So yeah, so we had to quit that one.
Okay.
And then we had the eccentrical lines. Those are extra limited.
Okay.
We started that with 2012. The eccentrical come about is a one-time production, one size, one profile. 2012 is the year of the dragon.
Okay.
And, you know, the description of the dragon of the Chinese zodiac is the only methodical creature on the zodiac, so it's very eccentric.
Yeah.
So we call it eccentrico.
Okay.
And the profile of that is more, because I came up with the name.
Okay.
So kind of toward my palate, which is more like a medium body, but a lot of cocoa, coffee, creamy, little sweetness.
Ooh, I'll have to try that one.
Yeah, well, it's good luck
Well, it's
finding
limited.
it.
Yeah, I was say you said it was.
we start out like
You don't have any sitting in a box upstairs?
I
Just
have
not-
mine.
Oh, you have yours. Okay.
I have 2 boxes
Wow.
of my name.
I'm gonna have to get to know Rose here. So.
Yeah, it's a torpedo with the fan tip and wrap foot.
Oh, okay.
That's about 2,000 cigars sold out.
Yeah. Oh, that
so-
is limited then.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then 2013, we have a Salomon shape with we call it eccentrical number 2. Had fan tip, Salomon wrap foot as well. That one is toward his palate, a little richer, a little fuller, a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
The eccentrico Corona Gorda, that one on the 2016, that's closest to the number 2.
Okay. Okay.
And that one was a big win. And then the number 3 was combination palette between his and mine. So that one is a torpedo, a fan tip as well, and then wrap foot. And that one, 4,000 cigars made.
Oh wow.
A box of 10. So you can find that some here and there.
Okay.
Catch a call around.
All right.
That one's kind of like what I like in the coffee in the morning.
Okay.
At that time, I was drinking. I like strong coffee, a little creamy, a little sweetness to it.
Yeah.
So that's how I start. And I got in the middle, I got cocoa coffee. Burns really nice. I'm a talker, so it's still lit.
Oh well, that's good.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's my problem here on the show is I start talking to him, and before long, I'm like, oh, I got to relight this thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, and then 2015, that came is Bellicoso size, also 4,000 cigars, a box of 10, and that one we call it Mi Abuelo.
Okay.
It's dedicated to grandfathers who smoke cigars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the blend on that one is medium to full. And again, Carlos and the bill came up with that one.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it had to be Bellicoso size for grandfathers, right? You don't want a petite Corona.
Oh yeah. No.
But it's really, really nice. That one is really hard to find.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then 2016, due to the FDA regulation and things, so we
Yes.
decided to add Eccentrico to our limited line,
Okay.
be part of limited production. So we made it into 4 sizes. We got Serie A, we got Corona Gorda, we got a Bellicoso, and Rosalita, which is like 4 by 40.
Oh, okay.
And
Little
that
guy.
one, yeah, little guy, but it's not a quick smoke.
Well, that's
And,
good.
Yeah, a lot of people think, oh yeah, I can do this. It's like, no, it burned almost as long as a Robusto,
Oh, wow.
but it's real rich, a lot of depth and complexity.
Okay. So you guys are setting up here. Are you getting a good reception from the crowd here at
Yeah,
the Western
first
Tobacco
time,
Festival?
try to educate
Oh, so it's only your
everybody.
first time here.
First time here.
It's our
yeah.
first time as well. So
Well,
there you go.
hey,
I
we're a
was like-
newbie.
Yeah, I know. So, but you said you're getting a good reaction.
Yeah. People never heard of us, and
Yeah.
it's a good introduction. Because, like I said, we're a very small company. Total production per year about 60,000 cigars.
Oh yeah. So you are kind of small then.
Yeah, we like it that way because we're concentrated on making good cigars.
Keep it manageable.
Yes.
Yes.
And quality control and consistency in profile.
That's great.
Yeah, we're really big on quality control.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, folks, you need to keep your eyes open for Elogio.
Yes.
Look for them in your
yeah,
shops.
this is shop in Old Town Cigars in Wichita, Kansas. That's where we're based.
Okay.
And you'll find a full line there. So we have a nice lounge there as well. So come on down and visit us.
Sounds like a good reason to go to Wichita.
Please come
There you
by.
go. All right.
Yeah. You're close to Just for Him in St. Louis, Springfield.
Oh, okay.
They carry a line.
All right.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
will have to go by and check them out.
Yeah,
So
Christian and Jessica will be happy to help you.
fantastic. Well, Rose, thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy day to
Thank you
sit
so
and
much
talk
for
to us.
having me.
Yeah,
I
this is great.
appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we want to thank Rose for taking some time out of the Weston Tobacco Festival to sit and talk with us. And pardon my ignorance about her brand a little bit because, like I said, this was the first time
We're not
that
familiar with it.
we encountered her. And so we learned along with you guys.
One of the
about
reasons
that
we
brand.
started doing this.
Exactly. So we're expanding our horizons and our palate a little bit.
Rose could not
So-
have been nicer. We actually took a little time, enjoyed the cigars, listened to the interview because we did it 3 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
So we listened to it as you guys were listening to it just now, and she could not have been nicer.
It's true.
It is. I referenced her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend that were helping her with the stand earlier.
Yeah.
Nick, I don't know if you caught this, but her daughter looked like a younger version of Christy Teigen.
Dude,
Is it Christy Teigen? Christy Teigen.
You always play that game. You always do this.
John Legend's wife.
You always do this. You always tell a woman, "Oh, you remind me of insert actress here." And
But she did.
dude, like 99% of the time you are dead wrong.
I am never wrong.
You are so wrong. I mean, there are many, many times that I look at you and I'm like, "What are you smoking?" Because it's
And
definitely not
almost
tobacco. If you're
To a
thinking,
person, they will say, "Yeah, I've heard that before." They do,
but it's never accurate.
but I call them as I see them.
I guess. I mean, and I'm not like
Are you dogging on me?
I was just
You're dogging
no,
on me.
I'm not dogging on you. I want to make it very clear. I'm not dogging on Rosa's daughter.
Oh, lovely young lady.
She was very nice, very professional.
Could not have been nicer,
and was a
too.
great. She and her boyfriend were very
He was really cool
great
to be there helping him out. And,
ambassadors
yeah.
for the brand. I mean, they were.
That's a good
you
way to
know,
put that,
they-
ambassadors
they were-
for the brand.
When I walked up to the table to get our sampler pack from Rose, they were friendly. They made eye contact. I mean, and maybe I'm being
No one looks Nick in the eye.
maybe I'm being judgmental of the younger generations here, but they made eye contact. They spoke up. They were very polite. I mean, I have
Well, and they,
were, like
they
I said,
knew
they were
knew what they were talking
they were
about.
engaging and they were good ambassadors for the brand.
Anyway, Rose, your daughter looks like Chrissy Teigen.
There you go. So,
That's a compliment.
so I was taking a look at their website also while we were
You
we
found
were
some
listening to
interesting
this.
information out.
And so I was looking on their website, and
I'm never wrong about who someone looks like.
you're always wrong.
I don't.
about
I'm
who. So
I'm on about this now.
I think probably 19 times out of 20, I can't say 9 out of 10 because that's 90%, and
That's hurtful.
I think it's less than that.
This is hurtful.
I say
I have
19
feelings.
times out of 20, you are dead wrong.
I have feelings.
It might be one of those things where, oh, she has red hair and she has red hair. They look alike. No, it takes a little more.
It's like
than
your
that.
wife looks like Wendy from Wendy's.
No,
She does.
no.
Have people said that to her?
She doesn't have the freckles.
But have people said that to her?
I mean,
Have people stopped you? No, other than me, have people stopped you and said,
Okay,
hey,
there
you
was
look
the
like
one
Wendy?
random guy I think actually did say that to her.
There you
one
go.
time, so okay.
I'm not the only one.
God, you suck. So I went on to
He's so mad right now.
I went on to Elogio's website, and that's ELOGIO cigars.com. And on their website, under the tab retailers, they do list
It remind
off.
me of Oreo, by the way. Elogio, like, Oreo. Anyway.
They do list off the retailers by state that they do that offer their cigars. And so I'm looking, and it looks like
I may be wrong about this, Nick, but I think there's only one in Illinois that I know of.
there is only one in Illinois. It's up in Chicago.
Yep.
So
Blue something.
Maybe Blue Havana.
Yep.
Blue
wow.
Havana.
Look at that.
I know, it's almost like I just told you that maybe 2 minutes ago. Anyway, so I'm looking on this site. There's a couple of spots in Alabama. Looks like
Several in Texas.
4 in Arizona, 2 in California, 2 in Florida, 1 in Georgia, 1 in Illinois, 1 in Indiana, 1 in Kansas, which I find interesting considering they are based out of Wichita and the store that they are in is in Wichita. I would have thought maybe Kansas would have been a little bit, but maybe there's not that many stores in Kansas. I don't know.
Well, there's not a lot of population centers in Kansas.
Not a lot of stuff in Kansas. Typically, you drive through Kansas and it's just flat.
A lot of sunflowers.
Flat.
I've noticed.
Flat.
Yeah.
Truck stop. Flat. Flat.
Truck stop. I thought the Rocky Mountains would be a lot rockier than this.
I know, right? 1 in Louisiana. Looks like 2 in Maryland. 1 in Michigan. 1 in Mississippi. 3 in New Hampshire. So you're rocking it up
in the
in
East
New
Coast.
Hampshire. 1 in Ohio. 1 in Pennsylvania. 1 in Tennessee. No, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 in Tennessee. So Tennessee is a good state for them. And here we are, Texas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them in Texas. So,
Elogio's bigger in Texas.
So everything's bigger in Texas. Well, so is Elogio, and then 1 in Virginia. So, yeah, they've got a handful of locations all around the country, scattered all around. And I don't know for certain if any of these stores offer like mail order. So it's possible that maybe if you don't live near one of these shops, you might be able to reach out to one of them and see if they'll ship you some if you're interested in trying it. I don't know, but
I can recommend the stick I'm smoking all day long.
They have the websites for all these stores listed and everything on here, so you should be able to find a retailer
Very comprehensive
that carries this if you're interested
like
in
I said,
trying
I would
it.
recommend the stick I'm smoking right now. It's clean, it's crisp. I don't know if it tastes like a salad and lettuce and all that, but very clean and
that's
crisp.
what she said.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. I'm smoking. Yeah, I'm smoking the Eccentrico, the current one, and it's good. It's got some spice to it. It's good.
In full disclosure, you had to do a little adjustment on your cigar, though.
I did. I had to. So it's a torpedo shape, and I'm not really used to those. And so one of the things I had to do, I did have to clip the end a little more than my initial cut.
It opened it right up for you, though.
My initial cut, I think, was a little too shallow. Yep. I think I was still in the plug a little bit, and it was kind of drawing a little tight as I went on. But I have since cut again, and, yeah, it's opened right up for me, and the draw is significantly better than initially.
I will say his entire attitude about that cigar changed when you did a second cut on it.
Well, it opened up, and that helped a lot.
And it's smoking healthy for you. You like a lot of smoke off your cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If I'm going to sit and smoke something, I don't want it to be just wispy. I want you to know that I'm smoking a cigar.
Plume.
I want to fill the room. So
he's essentially a turn-of-the-century, coal-fired plant at this point.
Robber Baron.
Yes. So Nick had something interesting happen to him today that I want to circle back to.
Okay.
We have a new liquor, wine store, whatever you would call
Yeah,
it, that has opened up in the Metro East here in St. Louis.
May be familiar with them. They've got locations all around the country. It's called Total Wine and More, and so it's a just giant liquor store, and so they've got lots of wine, whiskeys, vodkas, rums, just all sorts of spirits, beers, just all kinds of different stuff. But within there, they also have a humidor. And not like a small one. I mean, it's a legit, honest to God humidor, and it's stocked really well. Admittedly, it is stocked kind of with the bigger name brands. You've got the General Cigar, brands. You've got Punch and Monte Cristo.
Fuente.
Well, Fuente's not but yeah, Fuente's in there. You also have Perdomo, Padron, lots of Rocky Patel, J.C. Newman. Drew Estates was
Said there were a few acids.
Drew Estates was represented mostly by acid.
Yeah.
They had a couple of Kentucky Fire cured ones in there, but by and large, acid was the Drew Estates footprint within there. You had the Romeo and Juliets, the ones when you think of the big names in the cigar world, the ones that when you're thinking of a brand and you want to think of the big name, that they are fairly well represented.
Well, and that makes
humidor.
sense because they're kind of a chain and they're
Precisely.
nationwide, so to speak.
Precisely. So they're
going to pick.
They're
going
to be a bit more on the general selection and everything. So you're not going to find a lot of boutique brands in there. Like you're not going to find a Southern Draw. You're not going to find
an Elogio.
An Elogio. You're not going to find an Oscar Valadares. You're not going to find, some of these Aromacraft, for example. You're not going to find some of these boutique brands. But for the humidor, for a general, for lack of a better term, big box store, I thought it was a great humidor. And
so
it offers up an option on for me, close to my home, that if I need to just grab a stick real quick, I can pop in there. And I'll also say they have a rewards program to where when you purchase, you get points, and after so long, then you get cash back that you can use towards products. So
that's awesome.
I'm kind of almost in a roundabout way. By buying cigars, I'm getting free cigars.
See, look at that.
I know, right?
Now I want to point out the Hill, which we refer to as our home store, offers the same kind of program through the Clover app.
They do.
Yep. And that has worked in my favor several times.
They've used the Clover app, so you get points, and it's one of those things where after so many points, you get 5% off a purchase. Then I think if you build up more points, you get 10% off a purchase, and you can use that towards boxes or supplies or pretty much whatever your purchase is, you get 10% off.
So this new store, again, the name is
Total Wine and More.
Total Wine and More. So Nick went into the humidor yesterday, did a little intel work, went back in today, and something happened to you in the humidor.
So I've been there, and there's an employee in there, and he's talking with a younger couple, and he's kind of talking about cigars with them. And it's fairly obvious that this couple doesn't really know much about cigars. They're
Nothing wrong with that. Everybody has to learn.
I was going to say, everybody learns, and they're asking questions, and they're, here, and they're engaged. So, more power to them. I thought it was great. And so I'm just kind of in there. I'm grabbing a couple things real quick, and just to kind of put a few basic items into my travel humidor. I ended up picking up, what did I pick up? I picked up a brick house. I picked up a Oliva, what is that? Oliva Serie V, and I got a Padron.
There you go.
And so,
well-rounded purchase.
Yeah. I'm in there, and I kind of scoot past this conversation that's going on, and the gentleman's like, "Young man, can I help you with anything in here?" And I'm like, "No, sir, I'm good." And he's like, "Do you know your way around a humidor?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good."
I think put Nick back on his heels for a second.
I'm like, "Yeah, I think I do."
You were ready to fight, weren't you?
I wasn't ready to fight.
You were ready to fight. I can tell.
I'm like, "Yeah, I think I do." And he goes, he's like, "Have you been in here before?" I said, yeah, I was just in here yesterday, actually. He goes, thought I recognized you. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, are you sure you know what you're doing in here? And I said, yes, sir. I said, my friend and I, we have a cigar podcast, and we talk about cigars, a couple times a week. And he goes, oh, I listen to a cigar podcast that I really like. It's called The Cigar Pulpit. And at that point, I knew he knew exactly
He was
who I
messing with
was,
you.
and he was screwing with me. So I want to give a shout out to Chris, also known as the Snappy Big Man on Instagram. And
Now, backstory there. Snappy Big Man had actually requested
he
a
requested
sticker.
a sticker from us, and just in the process of typing out his address, number got transposed or something like that, and so when I sent it to him, it bounced back to me. So I, messaged him, and I had to send him, send it a second time, and I realized when he sent me the address that he lived real close. I didn't know that in his retirement he decided to work for Total Wine and.
Well, if I'm not mistaken,
And
he's got several years of
humidor.
experience.
That's what he was telling me tonight. He's got 25 years plus in the cigar industry, and so he knows what he's talking about. So that was great. But he also makes his own coffee. That's his new passion.
Ooh,
He's got a very limited boutique coffee brand.
I'm sitting here right now, actually pairing coffee with my cigar.
You do have a cup of coffee, so. But anyway, so big shout out to listener Snappy Big Man.
I'm looking forward to trying the coffee.
Yeah.
I love coffee.
We'll have to get some.
Nick, on the other hand, no.
I like the smell of coffee, but I've just never been a fan of actually
I've
drinking
tried, folks.
coffee.
I've tried to get him to like coffee. He just doesn't. In the interest of full disclosure, I'm not only pairing with coffee tonight, I'm also drinking some GT's Watermelon Wonder Kombucha. Which is not a normal pairing with a cigar, but I love kombucha.
No, it's not. Watermelon, no less.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, this cigar... Now, I will say, she mentioned in her interview that she likes cigars that they change as you're smoking them.
Yeah.
I am picking up more spice, a little more pepper now. I'm getting into the final third of the cigar.
I would say you seem to be nearing the end of that.
It's a good stick.
Yeah.
Very good stick.
Well, good. I'm about not quite halfway on mine.
You know what we should do? We should switch, and then we'll finish each other's.
I don't put
No,
my
we're
mouth
not
on
doing-
things
no,
that
we're
you
not
put your
doing-
mouth
no.
on.
Nick knows me too well to do that.
No, that's the problem. I don't know where your mouth has been for me to be willing to put my mouth on something that you've
Got a lip
been
fungus
slobbing
ain't
on.
quite identified yet.
We're
getting close
The
to-
scientists are calling it fungus Jeff A.
We're getting into the Christmas season here soon, so I wanted to, I got to start throwing out my, Christmas vacation quotes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, Margot. I got a million of them, folks.
Well,
Where's Eddie? He usually eats these things.
Yeah, thanks.
I was watching the squirrels play in the yard today. Acorns are falling like crazy.
This is what you did with your day today.
I did. I sat and watched it. Well, I couldn't go anywhere because my Jeep broke.
Oh, no.
I got to change a starter in the morning, people. I'm not a mechanic.
Which means his Jeep will not be fixed by end of day
Which means my
tomorrow.
Jeep is never running again, most likely. Because I'm too cheap to go get it fixed. It's 2 bolts and a nut. I have to take off 2 bolts and a nut. And it is going to take me all day.
Do you know where this is even at?
I found it today. It's funny. I couldn't
Is it
find the starter.
accessible?
Ish.
Ish.
Well, okay, so
You have fat hot dog fingers.
I searched.
So do I, so I can't say anything.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But you've got fat hot dog
It's the
fingers.
pot
so
calling
this
the
is-
kettle fat there.
Hey, that's my line.
Stole it. No, it's funny because I got under the hood because I thought, I'll just tap the starter and get off the dead spot. Well, that didn't work at all. And, I thought I'll get it to start and I'll pull it out somewhere where I can make it more accessible to get to. And no, it would not fire up. But it took me forever to find the starter because they have a heat shield that goes over it.
Ah.
And I'm not going to lie, it might as well have been cloaked. Because
You're just overlooking it constantly.
I watched several YouTube videos and looked up all kinds of stuff online and finally realized where it was. It's on the driver's side underneath the tire.
I'll tell you, that is actually one really cool thing about YouTube. When you parse through all the really ignorant shit that's available.
The 99%.
Yeah, you can find an instructional video for damn near anything. Now it becomes a matter of, do you trust the person who put together the video and is showing
Truth.
you how to do this? But by and large, you can do most repair work if you can find a YouTube video for it. I know my stepdad actually repaired, I think it was our washing machine or our dryer, one or the other, and did it all based upon, watching a YouTube video and swapping out the part. Works great now. So
Well, there you go. I've done, I obviously I can change a battery. I can change, I grew up on a farm. I can change a starter if I can find it, and an alternator. I can do those things. I'd rather not.
Yeah, but it costs you so much
I
more
know.
to take it somewhere. I mean, you're talking,
And I'm cheap.
it used to be what? On average about $75 an hour,
Yeah.
for car repair work. That has gone significantly higher since
Well,
I
and
first
part of the
heard
problem
that.
is the cars have gotten so specialized
Yes.
that, with all the computer and electronics and stuff up under the hood, it's not like it used to be where, I remember as a kid climbing up in the F-150 and fixing stuff.
Oh.
You're not doing that. You're not climbing up in an engine
I'll
compartment
tell you,
anymore.
Earlier this year, my 2008 Ford Escape finally gave out on me after 252,000 miles.
He shot it on the side of the road like
And,
a horse with a broken leg.
No, I gimped it to the dealership where I traded it in, and I
should
ended
have
up
shot it.
I ended up picking up a 2019 Nissan Pathfinder, and I'll tell you, this thing, it's like I'm driving a damn rocket ship in comparison to my old car,
yeah.
with all the technology and everything built into this thing. And all I can think as I'm driving this off the lot is two things. First, I'm thinking this is really cool because I've got bells and whistles that I couldn't have even dreamt of in my previous car. But then the other thing I'm thinking is, how much is this going to cost when I eventually have to get something repaired on this thing?
Valid point.
That's the one upside and the downside. I've heard a lot about the electric cars, like the Teslas and whatnot. And when you go with the pure electric cars, there's very few parts that are actually the same between the electric cars and the combustion engines because they just don't need them. Like a transmission, for example. The electric car doesn't need that because you don't have a combustion engine, so you're not having to, do all that work. So you have a lot fewer repair issues from what I've gathered, at least the short period of time that they've been accumulating data on these things. The problem is when they do eventually have a problem, that cost is exponentially higher than with a combustion engine because, as you said, it's so specialized and the parts are so much more.
Yep. Well, and
Batteries,
folks,
and
I think this is the point where we need to let you know that we're going to segue into the car pulpit from now on. We're giving up the cigars. We're going straight in auto repair.
I'll tell you what. One of my favorite shows from NPR back in the day.
You listen to NPR?
Well, when I was in college, dude, you have to remember one thing, okay? I was poor. I didn't have cable. I had a TV with rabbit ears, and so I was, at any given time, only able to get 2 channels, okay? If I kept the rabbit ears in one position, I could get PBS and I think Fox, and if I switched to another position, then I could get I could get NBC and maybe like one other channel. But
Fox didn't exist when I was a kid.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
but
I'm
at
old.
any given time, I could only get 2 channels. So that was TV-wise, all right? So I watched a lot of PBS when I was in college is what I'm getting at. In terms of my car, I didn't like a lot of the radio stations down in the town that I went to college.
CIL?
I didn't like them.
TAO? TAO is a great station.
TAO was all right.
It's one of my competitors, but it's a great station.
It was a rock station and whatnot, and that was okay. But every once in a while, you want something a little different. And I'm not into the top 40 garbage.
So
and
the CILs of the world.
I wasn't into that. And so when I was tired with hearing the same rock song,
well, there's 87 country station choices down there.
And there's that.
Southern Illinois, baby.
I would flip over to NPR. And one of the shows that I loved on NPR was Car Talk with Click and Clack.
I remember that.
I
remember Click and Clack.
Click and Clack. And, people would call in and say, hey, I've got a problem with my 1980, blah, blah, blah. And they would just, describe the issue. And these guys would ask a couple of questions. And, man, they'd have it diagnosed right then and there. They'd give them a couple options. This is what you can do, blah, 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 and all that. It was great. I loved it. And they were so funny.
As long as you're not listening to, All Things Considered.
Yeah, that I
Ari Shapiro.
wasn't a fan, but no, Car Talk. And what's really cool is, at least in Apple Podcasts, I would assume on all other podcast platforms that NPR dabbles with, they have old episodes of Car Talk available.
Really? Oh, that's
that
awesome.
you can download and listen to. And so I've done that from time to time. Just
Prairie Home Companion. Were you a big fan?
wasn't
No.
But,
You know the kid from I'm going to mess this up. The kid from Nickel Creek is now the host of Prairie Home Companion.
well, yeah, because what's his face got caught up in the Me Too stuff.
He
Garrison
touched
Keillor.
somebody's back.
Yeah, Garrison
come
Keillor got
on.
messed up in the Me Too stuff.
You know what? I'm going to defend Garrison Keillor on this. That was ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming
From everything I heard of
from
that,
everything I
that
heard of
was
it,
ridiculous.
yes, it was a little far. But
He apparently went to, I guess, get a photo or something with somebody and reached around and touched their bare back because they had a backless dress. Come on. If that's really all it was,
yeah,
come on.
I get it.
Anyway.
But anyway, so
I mean, I'm no fan of Garrison Keillor. I got no horse in the race. I don't know the guy, but from everything I heard about it's not like Harvey Weinstein or whatever his name is.
Ooh, and the whole stuff with Matt Lauer. Have you heard more about that?
Oh, well, I know he had the button to lock his door to trap people in.
Yeah, but that blew up a little bit more over this past, the last few days. I guess they found out that one of the producers that came over to Sochi to the Olympics must have gotten a little intoxicated and ended up in his room, and he pretty much forced himself upon her. And
I haven't heard any of this.
Oh, it's a big deal. It's all in this new book by Roman Farrow, and he's having to defend himself again on more allegations and everything with that.
And now we have to cut this discussion short because my 9-year-old daughter Addie has wandered out onto the deck.
Hi, Addie. So
love you, kid. Go to bed. It's late. Oh wait, you don't have school tomorrow, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Columbus Day.
See you, dear.
But no, now that we've talked sufficiently enough about celebrity sexual harassment.
Yeah, and then got to say hi to my daughter.
Yeah,
that was weird.
But no, I used to love Car Talk, and unfortunately, one of the brothers has passed away. I don't remember off the top of my head if it was Click or Clack.
Natural causes or murder?
Natural causes.
Okay.
Why would it be murder?
I just assume.
It's not always murder.
Yeah, there's a lot of murder.
Not all. Well, yeah, but it's not always murder.
There's some murder.
Anyway, but you can check out old episodes of Car Talk on.
It went a little too dark
whatever.
for Dick there, apparently.
But actually,
somebody off Clack.
You know what's funny, Jeff?
What?
Speaking of Car Talk, we actually have been compared to them before.
Really?
We had one person say that they felt our banter back and forth, our goofiness, kind of reminded them of Click and Clack in that we were talking about a niche topic, in our case cigars, in their case car repair, but that we made it accessible to everybody through our just general wackiness and conversation and whatnot.
Well, and
I thought that was a very high praise because, like I said,
it actually is.
I loved Car Talk, and so that was very high praise.
Yep. Well, and I will tell you, Nick and my friendship, although it's relatively organic. I mean, we've been friends for several years now. The podcast, when I go back and listen to them. And maybe that's a little narcissistic of me, but I like to listen to the podcast when it's all done and edited.
Oh, I listen to them as well.
And
just because I want to make sure I didn't accidentally leave something in that I meant to cut.
Right.
There's one in
there is
one thing in all the episodes that we have put out that I had every intention of cutting and I did not cut. Not because strictly because I missed it. And
it's one of our reoccurring off-air jokes.
And so, folks, I won't tell you what it is, but
it's probably easy to find.
I'll tell you what, folks. I'm going to put out a contest right here and now as a reward for those of you who actually listen to our ignorance. If you can tell me, shoot me an email, nick@cigarpulpit.com. Shoot me an email and tell me what it was that I accidentally left in that that I had every intention of cutting out. And
how in the world will they know that?
Well,
Because there's a lot of dumb stuff we say on
There
here.
is a lot of dumb stuff, but there's one thing that I have cut out of every episode when it's come up, and I accidentally left
Except
it in
for one.
in one episode. I won't even tell you what episode it was, but when I heard it the next day, I was like, "Ooh, I meant to cut that."
Nick even sent me a text and said, "Oh no, I left in blank."
So if you can find that, and you said the first person who finds it and guesses, because let's be real, you're going to be guesses correctly and tells me what it was, I will send a little care package of cigars to that person.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So shoot me your message with your best guess of what it was that I meant to cut that I didn't.
So we've talked about our home cigar store, The Hill, and obviously we always want you to choose brick and mortar. And if you have the availability for that, not everyone does. We are partnered with My Monthly Cigars.
MyMonthlyCigars.com, exactly. So it's a subscription service. As we've said before, what's nice about the subscription service is they provide you, in this case, either 2 or 4 cigars in a box that comes shipped directly to your home. If you do the 2 cigars, it's $20. If you do the 4 cigars, it's $30. There is an option for 8 cigars for $50. That box is made up of 2 of each of the 4 cigars that are in the 4 cigar box. So it's a good one for you and your buddy. But basically, you get these cigars that come to your house, and what's nice about it is a lot of times, at least in my experience, it's been brands or cigars that I'm not familiar with, maybe either due to geographic region and availability, or maybe it's just one of the things that I just haven't picked it up and smoked it. And so what's nice is you can try these cigars at a reasonable cost. Then once you go and try one and say, I really liked that cigar, you can go to your brick and mortar and say, hey, I liked this cigar. I want you to get some in. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be able to get that cigar in.
Absolutely.
And start selling it. And that way, too, what's nice is you're not telling a brick and mortar, hey, I think I might like this cigar. Can you bring in a box? And then you try one and decide you don't like it, and then they're stuck with this box that they can't unload on anybody. So it gives the opportunity for you to try it before you get the brick and mortar to buy it.
And by the way, if you type in pulpit, you're going to get a discount.
Precisely. If you go to mymonthlycigars.com, you subscribe up either for the 2 or 4 cigar box, and at checkout put in the offer code PULPIT, PULPIT. That will get you either free shipping on your first subscription box, or it'll get you 10% off in their store, because they do sell a few other items other than the subscription boxes. So that'll get you 10% off in the store.
Good deal. And as I started to say this, one of the good things about this industry is it is very consumer driven. Mm-hmm. So if there's something you want at your local store, like Nick said, 9 times out of 10, they're going to work with you and get that, because if you want it, I'll guarantee other people do too.
Well, and if you want it, they want to sell it to you.
Amen.
And
more power to them.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely don't be afraid to let your local tobacco store know, hey, I want this brand, this cigar, this size, whatever it is that you're looking for, because if they get it in and that's what you want, you're going to buy it, they're going to get your money, and everybody's happy.
There you go.
So
support local.
Precisely.
And support mymonthlycigars.com, because they're supporting us. Mm-hmm. And we really do appreciate it. Exactly. Nick is a customer.
I am. I've gotten one box. I did get it I probably got that box a solid coming up 2 weeks ago, and I will admit it's still sitting there unopened. I have promised that I would do an unboxing video, and I have just been swamped with stuff and haven't had a chance yet. I'm sure if you go online, you can find out what's in that box already.
We have been slammed lately.
But I do have every intention this week to get that unboxing video put up, and it will be put up on our YouTube channel. So if you're not a subscriber to our YouTube channel, head on over to YouTube and search for The Cigar Pulp and subscribe to that too.
Nice plug.
I know, right? It's called a segue there, Jeff.
I like that.
Yeah, we segued right into.
Well, we've got a ton of people on Instagram, very few on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook has definitely not been as big of a platform for us, but it's impossible for us to advertise the brand and the page on.
Although they keep telling us to.
Yeah, they do. They keep sending us these damn emails telling us, "Hey, promote your brand. Take out an ad." And then as soon as we try it, then they say, "Oh, wait, you're trying to promote tobacco use. Never mind," and shut it down. So, screw you, Zuckerberg. But the nice thing with Instagram is it was a lot easier, I think, for me to find fellow cigar smokers and start following them, and then they would follow back and all this kind of stuff. Whereas with Facebook, maybe it's because you're using your actual name and not like a handle where you can put like cigar in the handle or something like that.
Yeah.
It's been less organic.
I still contend Facebook's on the way out.
I do too.
Instagram, the Snapchats of the world, those kind of things are kind of taking over.
Mm-hmm.
But, there's an ebb and flow. I mean, there's a reason there's no MySpace really to speak of anymore. It happens.
It does. I mean,
I guess it's still there.
Instagram, it's not.
Is it gone?
I think it's pretty much gone.
Is it gone?
Yeah. But Instagram, obviously is owned by Facebook, and that's why their advertising policies are linked. But, what are you going to do?
Is what it is. But how do folks follow us on the socials there, Nick?
So we are on Instagram, obviously. It's at The Cigar Pulpit. And on Facebook, it's just Cigar Pulpit. We're on Twitter, Cigar Pulpit. And I mentioned YouTube already. And then obviously, if you want to send us a comment or question, you can send it via email to nick@cigarpulpit.com.
Good stuff. Well, Nick has got us talked into doing 2 of these a week right now, which I've already explained to him is probably going to have to wane in the colder months of the year.
Jeff keeps trying to convince me that over the winter we're going to have to scale back to 1 a week again. I'm trying desperately to find us a winter home. That is one thing that is a problem for us because, we do record these out either on his deck or my deck.
Or in his garage,
or
like
in
the
my
last
garage,
one.
like the last one.
Surrounded by
raining
600,000 comic books.
Cats and dogs. But we are a little bit beholden to the elements right now. And so
it's chilly out.
It is starting to get chilly out.
We had our first frost.
Well, and I know last night it was 45 degrees, and I sent a message to Jess over at the Hill Cigar Company asking, hey, what's the odds we can record at your place over the winter? So we're trying to get that kind of locked and loaded and everything like that. So
good deal.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, it's been a great episode, buddy.
It has, and I want to thank Rose again for sitting down. Check out Elogio Cigars at elogiocigars.com.
Shout out to our new friend up at Total Wine.
Snappy Big Man.
Snappy Big Man.
And
I look forward to meeting him.
He's up there.
I look forward to it. Well, Nick, great podcast, dude.
I was going to say, buddy. So,
folks, keep your comments coming. Let us know if there's a cigar that you would like for us to smoke, something that you enjoy, and we would love to try out new things. Nick, what do you got planned for next week?
So, next episode. See
that's
what he's
right.
doing, folks?
I'm trying.
He keeps throwing out the next week, wanting me to make this go back to once a week, and it's just not going to happen. So, next episode, we are going to be smoking a cigar that came recommended by a couple of folks, and also the fine folks at one of the cigar stores in this area when I went around and bought a bunch of cigars when we first were starting. And I can't remember where I bought this one, so I can't name the store.
Fair enough.
But it's the Trinidad Espiritu, and it is a Toro 6x54. So it's the Trinidad Espiritu.
Interesting. Not a cigar I've tried.
Me neither. So, and if I recall, this is the one that the guy told me is really spicy. So we'll see if he was accurate or not. Yeah, Jeff's looking nervous over there.
A little bit.
I don't know if this is one I'm going to like. So.
Well, I'm going to circle back real quick as we finish up here. I have thoroughly enjoyed this Elogio cigar. It's been a very good stick.
You burned it down to literally
I really have.
Next to nothing there.
Yep, I'm nubbing it.
So, yep. And I've got maybe the last third of mine to go. And once I opened it up, it became a much more, not that it was bad to begin with, but it definitely, once I opened it up,
his attitude towards the stick
a
completely changed once he made his second cut and got a little higher up on the torpedo there.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing with torpedoes. I'm just never 100% sure where to make the cut.
Well, there you go, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in.
This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. That was Gator. And we will catch you next time. Stay smoky, everybody.